All pipelines using buildApp crashed with no such method error. The library maintainer renamed it without warning, and no version pin was used. Let's break down Jenkins Shared Libraries, how it works, and the exact mistake behind that failure. A Jenkins shared library is a Git repository containing groovy scripts that Jenkins loads dynamically. It provides reusable pipeline steps, utility classes, and static resources, eliminating copy-paste across hundreds of pipelines. A shared library has 3 directories. vars/ contains files that become callable pipeline steps. src/ holds standard groovy classes under a package structure. Resources stores static files like JSON templates. Keep complex logic in src/, not vars/. You can configure libraries globally for all jobs or dynamically per pipeline using the @library annotation. Dynamic loading with version tags is recommended to avoid namespace pollution and version conflicts. Versioning is critical. Always use Git tags and load libraries by tag. Semantic versioning helps communicate breaking changes. Never load the master branch in production, as it changes unpredictably. Each file in vars/ defines a call method that can be invoked directly in a pipeline. Use named parameters with defaults for flexibility. Keep steps under 50 lines and delegate complex logic to src/classes. Testing shared libraries is non-negotiable. Use JenkinsPipelineUnit to write unit tests. Load your step script, call it, and assert that the expected commands were executed. Run these tests in CI to prevent breaking changes. The article mentions dynamic loading inside a stage, but doesn't show code. Use the library step to load a library mid-pipeline, then call it steps. Note, steps are only available after the library call. The article targets Jenkins 2.44+ and Shared Libraries plugin 1+. In older Jenkins versions, pre-2330, the library step may not support the @version syntax. Use library mylib @v10 with caution. Also, the @library annotation requires the pipeline, Shared Groovy Libraries plugin. The article shows basic testing but omits mocking credentials. Use helper register allowed method with credentials map closure to simulate credential binding in tests. When a library doesn't load, check the pipeline log for loading library messages. Common causes are incorrect URL, missing credentials, or a non-existent branch. Use curl to test Git access and add try-catch in library code to surface errors. Loading a library adds overhead. Keep libraries small, use shallow clones, and enable caching. Consider splitting a large library into domain-specific ones so pipelines load only what they need. Shared libraries run with pipeline privileges. Never hardcode secrets. Use Jenkins credentials binding with credentials. Restrict write access to the library repo and implement secret scanning to prevent leaks. This is the same issue we highlighted at the start. Here's exactly why that happened. The library maintainer renamed buildApp to buildApplication without deprecation. Pipelines loaded the master branch without version pinning, so they immediately got the breaking change. Every pipeline calling buildApp failed with no such method error. Library maintainer renamed buildApp to buildApplication without deprecation, breaking pipelines that still called buildApp. The fix involved rolling back the library, adding version pinning to all Jenkins files with @library, mylib @v1, 2, and implementing semantic versioning. Now, breaking changes are communicated with major version bumps, and pipelines are pinned to specific versions. Loading a library without a version tag means you always get the master branch. If someone pushes a breaking change, all pipelines break immediately. Always pin to a tag like @library, mylib @v1, 0. Putting complex logic in vars/ makes it hard to test and reuse. Use vars/ only for simple callable steps. Move complex logic to src/classes where it can be properly unit tested. Hardcoding secrets in library code exposes them in logs and source control. Always use Jenkins credentials binding with credentials to inject secrets securely. To debug library loading issues, first check the pipeline log for loading library messages. Then verify the Git URL and credentials using curl or SSH. Add try-catch blocks in your library code to surface errors clearly. Let's run through some common interview questions. Explain vars/src/resources, vars/ for steps, src/ for classes, resources for static files. How to pin a library version? At library mylib at v1, 0. Describe a production incident caused by a library change. Unpinned master caused no such method error. Fix by pinning versions. And a few frequently asked questions. What is a shared library? A Git repo of groovy scripts loaded at runtime. Can I load multiple libraries? Yes, with at library, lib1 at v1, lib2 at v2. How to version libraries? Use Git tags and semantic versioning. To wrap up, shared libraries eliminate copy-paste and enforce consistency. Use vars/ for steps, src/ for classes, and always pin versions. Test your libraries, keep them small, and never hardcode secrets. This is how you build a reusable arsenal. Ready to go deeper? Up next, Jenkins multi-branch pipeline, then Jenkins GitHub integration and webhooks, then trigger Jenkins pipeline with GitHub webhook. Find them all at TheCodeForge.io. Thanks for watching. The full article and code examples are covered in detail at TheCodeForge.io.